All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Press X Podcast, episode 26 to be exact. I want to first thank everybody for being here so early and patiently waiting for me to go live. I always appreciate the support you guys show. You've shown incredible support not only on the channel, but on the podcast itself, and you really have helped elevate it to a level that, frankly, I never thought I would see it at. So thank you guys so much for that. And I want to also quickly give a shout out to all of my members, because I want to let any of my members know who are currently watching this or who may watch it after the fact. If you're not aware, I did put out the members exclusive episode of MBG and Friends where me and my good friend Brown Sugar talked more about the Xbox event. So if you are a member, make sure you check that out. It should be up for you guys, and you can find it in the community tab as well. For those of you who are not members, please consider becoming a channel member. It's a great way for you to support me directly as an independent content creator, and you do get some really awesome, in my opinion, really awesome exclusive perks. Obviously, I had to cancel the members-only live stream, unfortunately, but I like to think that the extra, it almost comes off as like an extra podcast that you guys got, kind of makes up for it. So, yeah, YouTube has been having some issues when it comes to like members-only streams and whatnot, so not really sure what's up with that. They claim it's in beta. Hopefully, they'll get it sorted out and fixed. Either that or I'll have to come up with another perk for you guys in the future. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. We already have almost 600 people here watching. If you could do me a favor, hit that like button to help the podcast out and help the stream. It helps way more than you know. And so today we have a lot of really interesting topics to talk about. Obviously, we are entering August now, and there is going to be a lot of conversation. One other thing I actually do have to kind of plug here before I dive into the topic breakdown. I want to let you guys know, because I've been getting questions about when my merch is going to actually go up, when it's going to go live on the channel. I'm in the final process of finishing it up, so it may go live as soon as tomorrow if everything goes smoothly. I plan to make like a little, minute long or 30-second long video letting everybody know. So I tried to, do the best I can with the merch line. So there's going to be a lot on offer. And so I want to just encourage anybody who's looking forward to that. Again, it's just another way for you guys to show your support directly, as well as help, get the channel out there and help it grow. So you can look forward to that in the next couple of days, as long as everything goes smoothly. And we have a new member, Jonathan. Thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate you going above and beyond here to show your support and support me directly. Look forward to your exclusive member perks. As I said, you can watch the latest episode of MBG and Friends, where me and my good buddy, we talk about the Xbox event a little bit more. And you'll probably notice my tone changed a little bit in that episode, simply because you'll find that it's much more difficult for me to rant when I'm trying to actually converse with somebody else, which I found pretty interesting. But anyway, sorry for that long-winded intro there, but just letting people file in. So yeah, what are we talking about in today's podcast episode? And another new member, Sinosure. Thank you so much for that, buddy. Really do appreciate that. Look forward to your exclusive perks, buddy. Really appreciate that, dude. We are talking about PlayStation 5 and how it is seemingly already dominating the next-gen conversation. I know this is something that we have been talking about a little bit, but I feel as though, oddly enough, after this Xbox event, I've noticed another shift where the PlayStation 5 already had a lot of momentum going for it going into this upcoming generation, but it seems as though things have really escalated to another level. And we have another new member. That's actually 3 new members, which is kind of crazy. Darren756, thank you so much, buddy, for choosing to support me directly. Your support means a lot to me. Again, look forward to your exclusive perks. Thank you guys for becoming members. Really do appreciate that. but the momentum has seemingly shifted over to PlayStation once again. I don't think the momentum really ever left. But I mean, we are getting to a point where it almost seems to me that the PlayStation 5 is getting to a point where it is just going to completely dominate, potentially, the next generation in a very similar fashion to what we've seen happen already with the PlayStation 4. And we have yet another new member, PS5 Hype, very appropriate name, considering you're a member of the channel now. So thank you so much, buddy. Look forward to your exclusive perks. Really grateful for all of you guys becoming members. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I just kind of want to highlight the fact that all signs are pointing to, and this isn't so much of a fanboy thing as much as it just seems kind of obvious to me at this point, that the PlayStation 5 is getting ready to dominate in the same way that the PlayStation 4 dominated this generation. And, you know, there are some people who think that this might be a bad thing because they're afraid that Sony might get too complacent or whatnot. But frankly, I do not think that that's what's going to happen at all. So it's going to make for an interesting conversation. Yet another new member. Wow, guys, thank you so much. You guys are just joining left and right. We have Nick116. Thank you so much, buddy, for becoming a member. Look forward to your perks. And we also have Hayes as well. Just the members keep rolling in. Thank you guys so much. Welcome to the channel, Hayes. Welcome to the channel, all of my new members. Again, when you're done watching this podcast, go check out the exclusive MBG and Friends episode. I think it's based off of the response of that episode. I don't mean to keep talking about it, but it seems that people really enjoyed that one compared to other episodes, because other episodes were kind of centered around games, but this time we centered it around an event. So we have Solid Snake 12711 saying, yo, and I will say, yo, Solid Snake, what's up? And wow, we have an extremely generous donation from Samuel Payne. Thank you so much for that, buddy. You're saying, what up, MBG? Sorry I haven't been at the Press X podcast episodes. 14-hour time difference makes it hard. Dude, no need to apologize, man. Your support is greatly appreciated, and that goes for everybody who takes time to watch it live, or those of you who have to wait till after that, you know, the show is over and you have to watch it later. I know that this time slot is not ideal for everybody. We have people all over the world that come and check out the channel, so I do apologize to you that you know, you're not. It's really difficult for you to watch it live. But thank you so much for that donation, buddy. That really means a lot to me. The support you guys show the channel here and show me directly, it really does mean a lot. I don't mean to sound cliche in that way, and I know it's really easy to sound that way, but it really is important for me to convey to you guys, especially considering how turbulent the year has been so far, how much the support really means to me. It goes such a long way, and you know, it motivates me, honestly, to continue to do the best I can for you guys and deliver the best content. I mean, we're all gamers. We're all very excited for the next generation. I think most of us are more so excited for the PlayStation 5 than anything else, which is understandable. And so I just, you know, I want to ride that wave with you guys and enjoy it. And it's going to be great. So thank you so much for that, Samuel Payne. No need to be sorry, buddy. I really do appreciate that support. And Josh, you're saying good day from Australia. It's 2 a.m. here. Wow. Well, thank you so much, buddy. I'm glad you can tune in while I'm live. Again, you know, your support really humbles me, and it continues to drive my motivation to want to continue to improve and grow this channel, because I think that this channel has yet to reach its full potential. And I think that, you know, the support you guys are showing is just incredible. And wow, okay, Dustin Ainsworth once again. Oh my God, dude, no, man, no, you guys are too much. I can't take this. Dustin Ainsworth is saying, no, I'm his sugar daddy. Back up, LOL. Oh my God, I'm blushing right now because it feels like, damn, guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't want to sit here and just like continue to gush and gush, but holy shit. Thank you so much for that, guys. Dustin, Samuel Payne, everybody else who's super chatting, everybody who's become a member. I haven't even gotten into the topics yet, and you guys are just like, wow. Dustin, thank you so much for that, buddy. That is an extremely generous donation. And, I mean, hey, you want to say you're the sugar daddy, then I'm not going to complain, man, because that is an extremely, extremely generous donation, and I can't thank you guys enough. Just again, it leaves me kind of speechless. So I don't want to spend the whole podcast just thanking you guys, but it really, really means a hell of a lot to me. Sorry, I don't want to miss this super chat either. We have Gaming for Idiots. You're saying, "What's up, brother? Does Sony's understanding that they'll absolutely dominate mean they could be raising price points?" To be completely honest, buddy, oh my God. Guys, please, it's too much. It's too much. This is ridiculous. I mean, thank you so much. To answer that question, dude, I don't want to say it means that they will raise the price point. Also, can you guys let me know if my mic volume's a little too loud? I don't think it means they're going to raise the price point, but I think it means they feel significantly more confident in the potential price point of $500. And Samuel Payne donating another generous amount, and you saying, "You think so? You think so?" You guys are too much here. I don't want you guys fighting over who should be the MBG sugar daddy. It sounds ridiculous, but guys, it really means a lot, though. It really does. Like, in all seriousness, I want you to know that when you donate this money to the channel, it allows me to continue to do what I do here. It drives me to continue to do what I do, and it does go back into the channel over time. So thank you guys so much for that. It humbles me, and I really cannot express, enough how much it really means. So thank you so much, guys. Oyakarumi, you're saying you should open up your podcast with an intro. Like, for example, do you remember in the South Park episode where Kyle equals PlayStation called Bono equals Xbox number 2, and Bono got insanely mad? So funny. Yeah, I'll have to think about that, dude. Okay, guys. All right. I don't know. What is happening right now? What is happening right now? Dustin Ainsworth, you're saying, "Easy, sorry, had to go to my piggy bank." Guys. I mean, dude, I don't know what to say. I don't know what the hell to say right now. Like, I haven't even gotten into the topics. You guys are just going insane with the support, and I'm just blown away. I'm blown away. You guys are absolutely amazing, and geez, man. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, all of you who are continuing to donate super chats. I apologize if I seem a little bit flustered, but you guys are just insane, absolutely insane. I can't even believe the support you guys are showing. It makes it extremely difficult to not feel insanely distracted. But I have to just once again thank you guys. Like, I'm noticing with my memberships here though too. Some of them are maybe a little bit. Dustin, okay, God, dude, like, come on. Like, Samuel, Payne, Dustin, what are you guys doing, man? Hey, I don't want to make it sound like I'm complaining, because I'm not, but holy shit, what are you guys, like, millionaires or something? Like, Dustin, you're saying you love the community. This is for them. Thank you so much, buddy. That means so much to me. Samuel, Payne, you're saying, come on then, like, you guys are going at it here. And you know what? I love the community too, man. And I really appreciate you. The way I look at it is you're investing in the community here. Same goes for you, Samuel Payne. I mean, this is just insane to me. Thank you guys so much. It's just, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say at this point other than thank you. I will, like, I try to do something every day for you guys, and I try to put my best foot forward. JV Rod, you're saying, keep up the awesome job, bro. Recon 19D, you're saying, hey, bud, heard you pining over God of War the other day, so I finally pulled the trigger and couldn't be more pleased. Keep up the great content. Thank you so much for that, buddy. Yeah, God of War is amazing. If you haven't played it, go play it. You guys are, I'm just going to say, you guys are fucking awesome. Like, I try not to swear too much. Usually I save that for later in the podcast, but the support you guys show, I didn't expect this to be the intro of the podcast. It's absolutely incredible. And I honestly, again, I know every content creator says this. I know it sounds a little bit cliche, but hell, I'm going to say it. I think that we have one of the best communities in the gaming landscape here on the podcast, here on the channel. I see the amount of support you guys show, and it doesn't go unnoticed, obviously, and it really means so much to me, and it literally powers the channel. If it wasn't for you guys, this channel wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't be where it is, and it makes all the difference. We have Spacebar. You're saying, let's pay for MBG's PS5. Love the content. Keep it up. You're certainly entertaining. Well, thank you so much. I try to be as entertaining and informative as I can. Samuel Payne, you're saying, can I take second? Hey, man, you're all equal here. I don't want to sit here and say that, oh, somebody who donates more is better or anything like that. I feel like that's not fair. I know you guys are just trying to show your support, and everybody shows their support in different ways. So thank you guys so much. Let me make sure I don't miss anybody's here. Excuse me. Dustin, you're saying, thanks, guys. So let's start. Yeah, press X to start the podcast, right? Mr. Butt is what I'm going to call you. You're saying, I'm Sugar Pappy now. Well, you're certainly something, buddy. Ron Pugsley, you're saying, your videos are awesome, man. Keep it up. Alien Tenno, you're saying, for a Diddy Pop. Brian M, you're saying, time for the big donations. 2 British pesos is a lot. Is lots. No, dude, guys, thank you so much. Every single ounce of support you guys show is not in vain, and it is all greatly appreciated. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. Let's move right along here. That was one hell of an intro, and yeah, we haven't even gotten into it yet. So, Mr. Bills, thank you for becoming a new member, buddy. Really do appreciate that. Look forward to your exclusive perks. Thank you guys so much. Let me bring up the gameplay here. Oe Akarumi, you're saying, you post some good content, no BS, you deserve it, bro. Well, thank you. I do genuinely try my best to put out the best content I possibly can for you guys. So you're going to see some Ghost of Tsushima gameplay in the background. There shouldn't be anything major spoilery here. I mean, it's some early, story stuff, but nothing you haven't already seen in, the trailers and whatnot. So, I just wanted to try to have some more Ghost of Tsushima gameplay in the background. But, guys, okay, hell of an intro. Thank you guys so much. You're saying I missed a super chat. Let me go double check here, because I certainly do not like missing super chats. Give me 1 sec before we dive into the topics. We have PlayStation Nexus, more moolah for your honey pot, my PlayStation brother. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Let me see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss any. Samuel Payne, you're saying, I would make it $3,000 plus, but need it for the PS5. Dude, please, that's too much. That's too much. Don't do that. That's too much. Yeah, save it for your PS5, dude. I'm trying to make sure I just didn't miss any super chats here. All right, so I'm not seeing any that I missed. Maybe I did miss one earlier, so I do want to apologize for that. I'll try to go back maybe towards the end and just double check that I didn't miss any, because I always feel bad when people do that. Hello, Hashin, you're saying, what is your favorite game of all time? To be completely honest, I think just off the top of my head, my favorite game of all time, the first one I want to say is just Metal Gear Solid 3. That's just the game that it feels like it just sticks out the most to me. There's a lot of games, but just the one instantaneously off the top of my head, Metal Gear Solid 3 just had such a huge, or Metal Gear Solid 2, they're kind of tied. They both had such a huge impact on me. Maybe it was my age when I played them, but yet another new member, Freud-san. Thank you so much, buddy, for becoming a member. Thank you to everybody who has become a channel member. Look forward to your exclusive perks. I'm looking forward to delivering on them each month, hopefully. And yet another new member. We have Nathan Brooks. Thank you so much, buddy. You guys are just man, I gotta say, I was not at all anticipating this going into today's stream. You guys are absolutely awesome. And before I continue to go on and on here, I'm just going to move right along because we're 20 minutes in here and I haven't even gotten to the first topic. So let's dive into the first topic. Sony seems to be dominating the next-gen conversation before next-gen even starts. It's reminding me a bit of how the current generation started, but maybe not as bad since Microsoft has made it kind of clear they are not too concerned with how their console performs. We are now entering August, and both Sony and Microsoft will be talking about their new consoles and holding events. Granted, these events will likely be smaller. It's clear by this point Sony will be holding a state of play, and they are going to be revealing some good stuff. What will Microsoft be revealing this month, and will it even matter at this point? The point here is that the PS5 is going to clearly dominate the next generation in a similar way to how the PS4 dominated this current generation. I mean, just look at the survey that was recently conducted. 84% of people chose the PS5 over the Xbox Series X. There's also a popular French YouTuber named Julien Chiez. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but he actually put out a poll on his channel, and what's important to understand is he's a general gaming channel, so it's unlikely that there would be any type of bias. And his poll actually generated over 114,000 votes the last time I checked, and 75% out of 114,000 votes said they were getting the PS5. Wow. Sony's risk-taking this generation with new IP and doubling down on high-quality AAA exclusives not only paid off for them this generation, but it's also paying dividends for them going into next generation. And that is my little write-up there, because that is what I was trying to say pretty much this whole time with topic number one, is how I know people think that I'm being a fanboy when I say it seems that PlayStation is already dominating the next gen conversation. And I'm not trying to be a fanboy. I just feel like that's kind of something you can obviously see right before your eyes, where Sony is doubling down and making it clear that they're doubling down on what they delivered on this generation. And if you go back and you listen to what Sony was saying about the PlayStation 4 generation, their back was against the wall with the PlayStation brand. It's as simple as that. They were in essentially a very similar situation that Microsoft is in or has been in with the Xbox brand in general and with the Xbox One, where their back's against the wall, it's sink or swim, it's do or die. What's going to happen? And Sony, back when they revealed the PlayStation 4, you're talking about a situation where they could have messed it up. Even the simplest screw up could have really messed up their entire branding and potentially we could have seen the death of PlayStation, as insane as that sounds. And you listen to what Sony was saying. I believe one of the Sony executives, I have to look more into the article, and I was thinking about maybe doing a video on it, but I'll mention it here. Recently, one of the Sony executives, I think in a upcoming PlayStation documentary that I'm actually looking forward to, I think it's coming out in the next couple of months, they said that with the PlayStation 4, like, that could have been the end and the death of PlayStation if it didn't succeed, because the PS3 was such a colossal hit to the PlayStation brand and to the business, and it just, put them so far in the red, monetarily speaking, that they had to absolutely nail it with the PS4, and they did. They did it right. And so you could see throughout this entire generation with the PS4, Sony was listening to the gamers. They were not backing down. They were actually doubling down on the idea of, we need to listen to the gamers, to what the hardcore audience wants. They weren't so much focused on how do we grow the PlayStation brand as widely as we can. You know what they were focused on? They were focused on, what do the gamers want? Our core audience, the audience that has been there since the PlayStation 1. We needed to go back to our roots. We need to double down on what those guys want, what those guys and girls want, because these are the guys and girls who are keeping our brand alive. And you know what? It creates a sense of loyalty. It creates a sense of, I know it sounds like it's a bad thing, and some people try to spin it like it's a bad thing, but a sense of brand loyalty, not artificially, but authentically. That's how they create it. They create it by giving people what they want, listening to what they want, and actually caring. And it's not, of course, it's a business. We all understand that, but it's not just about the numbers, right? It's not just about the most profit. It's about a win-win situation where if you create it, if you build it, if you actually do something meaningful, right? people will support that. To whereas if you're just trying to find the quickest way to success, you're trying to just cut corners, things aren't going to go your way, or if you get cocky or pompous, right? We saw that with Sony during, the early PS3 days, and they learned very quickly, like, okay, we can't be like that because we're going to get knocked off the top really quickly. And so what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is you look at the Xbox event, it was sink or swim for them, in my opinion, and I'm going to be completely brutally honest. I think they sunk. I don't think they're sunk to the bottom. I don't want to make it sound that dramatic. It's not like the brand is dead or anything. But when I tell you guys that it really was their big moment to possibly, bring a big haymaker to Sony's way, they hit nothing. They punched air, basically, and they failed to deliver. And meanwhile, Sony has already been doing what they should be doing. I mean, Sony could have went into any direction. Again, I have to highlight the fact that in 2019, towards the end of 2019, we were hearing about this big shakeup within Sony, within the PlayStation division, people getting, promoted, other people leaving their positions, and everybody was like worried, like, what does this mean? And what I can clearly see here is what this means is Sony, the people who are in charge over there at PlayStation, understand what has brought them this type of success and what will continue to bring them the most success going into next generation. And they're doubling and potentially even tripling down on that. And that, to me, is why Sony is already dominating the conversation, because people love that. They have their audience, and they've decided that rather than trying to grow their audience in some ridiculous way where it's like, let's bring everybody in as fast as we can. No, they're telling people, you come to us. And that's a hard sell, saying you come to us. That's not what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft is doing the opposite. But in doing so, that's ensuring they're going to have the best quality, that they're going to put as much into bringing people to them as they possibly can, rather than trying to bring it to them, and that's what helps foster a great community and also that type of brand loyalty that I've been referencing. Oyakarumi, you're saying, I noticed in one of your videos you said Spider-Man is going to be exclusively on Marvel's Avengers on PS4 and PS5. PlayStation equals that sucks Xbox. Xbox equals just deal with it. Yeah, just to bring that up for a second here, that report is starting to gain some traction where apparently Spider-Man is going to be a playable character in the upcoming Marvel's Avengers game. But if reports are to be believed, and it seems very likely because it was actually something that was written in the official description for the Avengers, but then immediately cut out. Like, I don't know how somebody could mess that up, or just randomly decide, let's just say Spider-Man's going to be in here. And then, oh, wait, turns out he's not. And he's going to be exclusive to PlayStation. Somebody could be hardcore trolling and getting fired because of it. But it seems very likely that this is something that's going to happen. And this has created some controversy where people are kind of bitching at me because they're like, stop advocating for timed exclusivity. Timed exclusivity is toxic and bad for the industry. And I'm just going to be real right now with you guys. I don't see it that way at all. Maybe it's because I own a PlayStation. Maybe it's because I feel good knowing that I'm going to be able to play as Spider-Man in this game. But I don't see this as a bad thing as much as I see it as Sony just giving something to their fan base. And sure, some people might see this cheap, like, oh man, they're just, they're just trying to bring people over in a cheap way. But it's like, look, I can understand why somebody would be upset about this. And frankly, I can even understand and listen to those who are saying, look, it just shouldn't be this way. Timed exclusivity shouldn't be a thing. But you know what? Timed exclusivity is always going to be a thing. At least it seems that way to me, because even people are like, oh, well, Phil Spencer doesn't do that. Phil Spencer doesn't believe in timed exclusivity. Don't you remember when he said that, he was asked about why they don't do timed exclusivity like Sony does with third parties and stuff like that. And he went on record saying, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of like, oh, that's not good for the industry. We don't want to support that. And then when you look at their July 23rd event, there was a whole section dedicated to timed console exclusivity. So it's like, look, it's just the way it is, guys. Like, you can't fault them for doing this. It's just business. And frankly, it's smart business. By Sony doing this, if they actually locked this down, that's a huge win for them. And I understand that some people are going to be upset, but as I said in my video yesterday, and I can't cut it any other way, as a PlayStation owner, I highly recommend, if you have not already, invest in a PS4, or even better, consider investing in a PS5 so you have access to all those PS4 games you may have missed out on, those PS4 exclusives. You'll have access to all the PS5 exclusives, and you'll get bonuses like this, significant bonuses that do make a difference. Because I'll tell you right now, any individual who's out there determining, should I buy the next Avengers game on Xbox or PlayStation? Sony just ensured that all of those people who were on the fence just chose PlayStation. It's smart business. Yeah, it may be a little bit like low blowish, as you know, that's how some people may view it, and cheap, but hey man, like this is the world we live in, man. Like you can't just sit back and try to always be the nice guy and expect that you're gonna get ahead. I'm not saying nice guys finish last, because that's not true, but at the same time, it's like trying to implement some tactics that may give you a little bit of an advantage in a way that makes sense. In this case, it makes total sense. Why not? What's wrong with giving your player base something extra for supporting your brand, right? And your console. The Caped Crusader, you're saying, thanks for being a good man. Love your passion, bro. Keep up the good content. You are important in the gaming atmosphere. Well, thank you so much for that, buddy. That means a lot to me. I try my best here, and I'm glad that you guys have a genuine appreciation for it. Kelvin Smith, you're saying exclusives have always been dope. I remember when certain games had special characters depending on which console you have. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it's always been. And I understand that there are some people who are adopting this newfound mentality where it's like exclusives are anti-consumer, all exclusives are bad, and we need to open everything up and stop gatekeeping and stop the, walled off gardens and stuff. But maybe it's just because it's the way I grew up. Maybe it's because I'm old fashioned. Maybe it's because I'm stubborn. Maybe it's because I'm stuck in my ways. But I don't see any problem with exclusivity. And I certainly don't see any problem with Sony doing this. I mean, hell, Phil, you could do something. Talk to Marvel. Talk to, Square Enix. See if you can get the Hulk. Well, maybe not the Hulk because he's like a core Avenger, but see if you can get another character yourself, exclusive to your console. I mean, this is where people are all like, oh, the future, Xbox knows the future of gaming, but all you're really seeing is Xbox become less and less aggressive and more hypocritical at the same time. They're becoming less aggressive because they're not pursuing the Call of Duty deals. They're not pursuing these big third-party deals, right? They're not trying to get this timed exclusivity. And then they're also being hypocritical by having a whole section during their show dedicated to timed console exclusives. So it's like, you can't have it both ways. That's all I'm trying to say. You can't sit there and make it sound like you're against timed exclusivity and you're trying to walk a more righteous path and for the gaming world and the gaming landscape and then go ahead and do it anyway. It just doesn't make any damn sense to me. So, in my opinion, I think people should not be so upset about this. If it does turn out to be true about the whole Spider-Man thing, just embrace it. Buy a PS4, buy a PS5. You're going to get the better version, in my opinion, of Avengers. And people are like, well, if this was the other way around, you'd be bitching up and down about Xbox. I'm going to be real right now. No, I wouldn't. You know what I'd be saying if Spider-Man was exclusive to the Xbox version of Avengers? No joke. As an Xbox owner, you know what I'd be saying? Well, guess I'm buying Avengers on Xbox, right? And even if I wasn't an Xbox owner, to be honest, like I would have to wait to see how cool it may or may not be that Spider-Man's in it. And if it was cool enough, he'd be like, well, good job, Microsoft. You just sold another console because I'm going to go buy an Xbox to play Avengers. Because that's, you see what I'm saying? Like, just to sit here and expect businesses to just stop making smart business decisions because it upsets you. It's the exact reason why I know Microsoft is going to continue to do what they're doing right now, because even though it upsets me, they're not going to listen to me. They're going to listen to the money. They're going to follow the money. They're going to do what they think is best for their business, which in this case, it's Game Pass. And we're going to talk all about that later on in this podcast, guys. But yeah, I got totally off topic here. I guess that's kind of a whole nother topic we just talked about. And so I don't know. I don't mean to sound so whiny, I guess. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to say that people are not allowed to be upset. Of course you're allowed to be upset. You know what I mean? Oyakurumi, you're saying maybe have Doomsday for Xbox only. Yeah, I mean, look, I understand that there's people who just don't want to see this. They just don't want to see any type of exclusivity. But one thing it does show is that there is competition. And if anything, guys, all I'm going to say is that this is where Phil Spencer should make it clear that, look, if you want to say that you're against timed exclusivity, DLC and stuff like that, and timed content, we see what Sony has done with Destiny and Call of Duty and many other games this generation. It's worked out really well for them, clearly. All I can say to Phil is you might want to change your tune about that and instead give your fan base, give your user base something extra. Stop trying to be the bigger guy here, the bigger brand, because no one cares. The only thing that people are going to care about is you're sitting here saying you're not going to do that. Meanwhile, your competition is offering Spider-Man exclusively for one of the biggest games that's coming out this year, right? You better get on that and make some changes, dude, because your fan base is not just going to sit back and be like, yeah, you know what? It's okay. Phil Spencer's doing the right thing. Like, sure, he may be doing the right thing, but you're still not getting Spider-Man. You're not getting anything extra. So I don't know, man. That's just my thoughts on that. But guys, we are going to move right along here to the next topic. So if you could do me a big favor, make sure you hit that like button to help the podcast out. We're almost at 500 likes. Let's see if we can possibly get to 600 likes. Likes help out the podcast way more than you know. So thank you guys so much for hanging out here with me. We're going to move right along and talk a bit about the damage control that we have been seeing, not only for the Xbox event that happened on the 23rd, but we are also talking specifically about the damage control that at least I've seen with Halo Infinite. Now, let me read this little paragraph I wrote down here for you guys. The damage control I've been seeing for Xbox's July 23rd event, and especially for Halo Infinite, is kind of unbelievable. I don't mean to keep on this, but ever since the event went down, I have actually seen some people trying to claim that Halo Infinite's only problem was the lighting, and that the game is going to get better and better before launch. And even worse, they're claiming that 343 Industries purposely made the game look like this to make it look like classic Halo. Yeah. So now I don't doubt that there will be some improvements that we will see before launch. I mean, 343 themselves said that what we saw was a small portion of the final game. That's important to highlight here, guys. This is something that a lot of people are seemingly not understanding because they're all talking about, oh, it's an older build of Halo Infinite and it's not representative. It doesn't matter. They made it clear this is part of the final game. They said it and confirmed it themselves. Losing my place here. But yeah, they're saying it's part of the final game. On top of that, all we are seeing, we're seeing stories across the internet pop up. And apparently these are developers who used to work for 343, and they're claiming that this game has been in development hell for quite some time now, and that there's some serious management issues over there at 343 Industries at the studio. Now, I don't know if all of this is true, but what is true is that 343 is an absolutely massive development team, and they've had 5 years to impress with their game, and they did the exact opposite. So naturally, it's going to leave me feeling as though maybe there really is something wrong going down there. We have Dustin Ainsworth once again, buddy. You're saying, MBG, I would like to set up a PS5 giveaway. Let's figure that out some way. Yeah, dude, maybe we could do something like that. That would actually be pretty cool. If you want, you can email me, muscleboundgamer@gmail.com. Maybe we can try to work something out there. So, yeah, email me, buddy. And we also have a Spacebar. You're saying you can still have a classic art style with better fidelity than what we saw. Shaking my head, look at Ratchet and Clank. Exactly. Like, and this is where, like, a lot of people on Twitter, because I don't know, apparently I just piss Xbox dudes off on Twitter, all the time. And people think I'm purposely trying to go out of my way to, like, shit all over Xbox. But it's not really so much about that, man. It's more along the lines of you can't make excuses for this shit. Like, you just can't. Like, I'm sorry. If you're somebody who is damage controlling Halo, you need to reevaluate what you're actually doing, because look, there are some people who are like, well, I still think the game looks like, it could be fun and it looks more like classic Halo, and because of that they're happy, and that's fine. That's fine. Like, if you're happy with the gameplay itself, but there's a lot about this game, in my opinion, that just looks like, how could this happen? I don't understand. I wrote some more stuff down here, and before I go on my tangent, let me read this to you guys. So, putting the graphics aside, 343 has also confirmed that Halo Infinite's multiplayer will be free to play and run at 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X, as if saying it runs at 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X matters at this point. Now, this is where I have to rant a bit about Game Pass again, because people called me a fearmonger. They called me a fanboy, claiming that Game Pass would lead to lower quality games, and these games being justified thanks to the low entry point that is offered by Game Pass. I said Microsoft was leaning more and more into the free-to-play model. Now, with their biggest AAA franchise, what are we seeing? A single-player gameplay demo that looks half-baked and news that the multiplayer will be free-to-play in order to be as accessible as possible. The free-to-play aspect itself is not that bad, but it's knowing the issues the game currently has and what Microsoft could potentially be planning when it comes to microtransactions in the long term that is concerning. How did I will say though, the one positive is they did confirm there are no loot boxes, which is great, but I've been saying this. Everything I've been saying that Game Pass would lead to is actually coming true right before our eyes. Chris B, you're saying we've seen remakes like Shadow of the Colossus, which can have a stylized look and not compromise fidelity. Halo deserves better treatment. Exactly. That's a big thing here too, is like, if you're a Halo fan and you're happy with what you saw, fine. That's perfectly fine. But you need to understand that most people, in my opinion, are not happy based off of what they saw. And I've seen a lot of hardcore Halo fans express their disdain for what 343 has done. The fact that this is the biggest AAA game, and that's the point I have to drive home here, guys, is, we're seeing, just put two and two together here, okay? It's not that hard. Like, we're seeing a game, the biggest franchise, the most important franchise to Microsoft, we're seeing it not handled properly. But on top of that, what I've been saying about Game Pass, this is why I just cannot support Game Pass. I don't give a shit how good of a deal it is when I'm seeing this from Microsoft, okay? I understand that Grounded just came out and everybody's loving Grounded, and apparently it's great, and that's fine, and I've poked fun at that game before, but, fine. Grounded maybe is a good game. Maybe it's, it's not all about the best looking games. If a game is fun, a game is fun. But what I am talking about are the AAA games that people have been waiting for. Halo is one of those games, okay? Halo is the big game. So what do we see? We see them put out this gameplay demo that looks extremely underwhelming. It looks low quality. I don't know how else to put it. It looks low quality. I've seen people trying to defend this, saying it's the lighting. Even 343 is defending it, saying we're listening to the feedback. It's going to get better and better before launch. Wow, I really hope so. Because this isn't next gen. This is Game Pass. That's what this is. That's what Halo Infinite is. You want to take a good look at the future of Xbox games? We're sitting here thinking we're going to get bigger and better AAA games. Microsoft learned. They're hiring new developers. They're hiring new talent. They're buying up studios. Wrong. Okay? I waited just like everybody else. And this is what they show. Maybe Hellblade will impress, and I hope it does. Maybe the Initiatives game will impress, and I hope it does. But is that what we saw? No, that's not what we saw. What we saw is a massive advertisement for Game Pass, and we saw, frankly, a piss-poor quality demonstration of Halo Infinite, and now we're finding out that on top of that, the multiplayer is going to be free-to-play, and people have pushed back on me against this. They're like, well, I don't see a problem with that. That's a smart move. They're just going to try to bring as many people into the Halo universe as possible. It's like, I get it. Once again, the accessibility argument, fine. Maybe in 2020, it does make sense to make your multiplayer free to play. But again, does that, let me put it to you this way, because I'm really starting to get heated here, in case you can't tell. Let me put it to you this way. If 343 showed a really impressive gameplay demonstration of Halo Infinite and it looked impressive and it looked next gen, I literally would not give a shit, and I apologize I keep swearing, but I wouldn't give a shit if when they say, oh, by the way, the multiplayer is going to be free to play. That's fine. But I can't do that because what they showed looks not good. And this just, all it screams to me is MBG, you were right this whole time, dude. Everything that you've been fear-mongering, because that's what I've been doing. I've been fear-mongering, or maybe I've been putting 2 and 2 together and realizing that you cannot lower the bar, the barrier to entry that low to allow literally anybody in and expect to retain AAA quality. Those two things literally clash against each other. So in my opinion, if you want to talk about a mic drop moment, you know what? I will give Xbox credit. I will give Phil Spencer credit. He did have a mic drop moment at this event, and it was just how bad Halo Infinite looked. Just how ridiculous this idea is that you're going to come out here and flex a 12 T-flop monster tower of power and then show something that literally looks like it's running on a base model Xbox One or worse. Okay? And then on top of that, shove Game Pass down our throats. And then on top of that, let us know that you're going to adopt the free-to-play model with microtransactions. What the hell is... How can people support this? If you give a shit about traditional console gaming, if you give a shit about high-quality gaming, how on God's green earth could you sit back and say, yup, Microsoft's the future, they're doing it right? Holy hell. Santos Vasquez, you're saying, hey MBG, I watched a Moore's Law is Dead video saying Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or Horizon Forbidden West gameplay will look like its game trailer the whole time. Do you think this will be the case? Yes, I did see that as well. And you know what? You want to see next gen? There's next gen. If I'm not mistaken, that Horizon Forbidden West trailer, which blew me away. I could not believe what I was seeing when I watched it in 4K. I was like, this looks too good. This looks deceptively good. I'm concerned. I think this might not be true. It's been confirmed, and it was confirmed actually during that trailer. It's all running on a PS5. Granted, they were cutscenes, and maybe the cutscenes will look a little bit better, but I believe it. If Moore's Law is Dead is telling me that he's heard, and his sources could be incorrect, but he's saying that he's heard that Guerrilla Games has already mastered the Decima engine on the PS5 hardware. And I don't doubt that. Think about how long they've been developing this game on PS5 hardware. Think about just how talented they are. Okay? I don't doubt that for a second. And so I believe that that is representative of what we will see. And frankly, I don't care if it's 30 frames. If it's 30 frames and it looks that good, I'm not going to really complain. However, I would like to see them do what Spider-Man Miles Morales is doing and offer, maybe a 60 FPS performance mode that it just doesn't look as pretty, right? But it still looks good, with the high resolution. But damn, that looked very impressive to me. Oe Yakarumi, you're saying, well, at least they have their shampoo. Yeah, at least they have that. Where's the Xbox Body Wash 2.0? I was really looking forward to memeing on that. But hey, I'll take Craig over that any day. Trey, I am too. You're saying, I said it earlier, Xboxers are being gaslighted by Microsoft. Then they also jump online to justify and defend bullshit. Dude, look, I know I'm getting really worked up here. We have Omega Buster 1. You're saying I was playing Halo Combat Evolved and its Halo Infinite graphics were phenomenal. Yeah, dude. Look, I know I'm really getting heated here, and I'm not trying to go to war with people because it's not that serious. But let me be honest with you. I'm passionate about gaming, man. There's a lot of bullshit that goes on in this world, and we all know reality is harsh. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why I made this channel, man, is because, I grew up playing video games. Video games were always my escape. They were always my outlet. I didn't have the best childhood, as I know many people didn't. And for me, video games literally played a huge role in just keeping me level-headed, I guess you could say, growing up. And as an adult, they still play a massive role in my life, and they mean something to me, okay? And I know that in life, it's all about what you give meaning to. But I have to try to get people to understand. Henry, you're saying, just woke up. What did I miss? You missed a lot so far, buddy, but there's still more coming. So I just want to try to get people to understand why I get so frustrated about the potential future of where gaming is going as a medium, because I care deeply about it. And I understand that people may think I'm dead wrong, and that's fine. I do not expect everybody to agree with me, and I'm always open to hearing other arguments. You guys know I went into this Xbox event with high expectations, saying I think this is it. I think they're going to do it. And what happened? Almost everything I've been saying was proven correct right before my eyes. And I didn't want to be proven correct. Okay, that's why I'm still bitching and not rubbing it in. I'm just bitching because it's like, it shouldn't be this way. Jonathan, you're saying at this point, we can't count out Halo FTP on PS5, free to play on PS5. Yeah, I mean, look, I just think that what we're witnessing with Xbox and PlayStation is two divergent paths, and one is going to be successful, one is going to fail. Okay, maybe they could both coexist. This is something that a lot of people told me, like, why do you get so worked up, man? Like, PlayStation's going to continue to do what they've done and succeed, and Xbox is going to succeed in what they're doing. And I'm going to be real right now. Okay, before I get real, let me read what Velocity is saying. You're saying Xbox is ruining Master Chief's legacy. Screw Xbox. Give the Halo IP to Sony. They will show you how to make a Halo game. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Just imagine a Halo game made by Naughty Dog. Well, maybe not Naughty Dog, but one of these Sony studios, right? Maybe Guerrilla Games, since they've worked on first-person shooters before. Okay, Kapapa, you're saying fully agree with your view on Game Pass. It is quantity over quality. I vote with my wallet, and I want to pay for quality and support those creators. Yeah, and again, like, these are arguments that people bring up to me, and I'm glad you agree with me. The arguments are, well, you don't have to buy it. And you're right, I don't, and I won't. I'm not subscribed to Game Pass, me personally. I'm not subscribed to it. I don't want to subscribe to it. If there's ever a game Microsoft shows me, you better bet I'm going to pay full price for that game. Oh, well, you're dumb for doing that. No, I'm not dumb for doing that. I'm not all about getting free games. That's not how life works. I'm not about free handouts. I'm about, seeing something that somebody worked on, knowing they put blood, sweat, and tears into it, evaluating it, determining, wow, this looks like a quality product. You earned my money. Here you go. Thank you. And they will thank me for their business. That's what I believe in. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the shit I'm talking about, where I don't want to see it go this route, where it's all about accessibility. Because believe it or not, you want to know what my great fear is? That Microsoft will find tremendous success. Because if they find tremendous success, just like I feared Google Stadia, I know it's a joke at this point, but I feared Google Stadia, and I pushed back against it because I'm like, I don't want this to be the future, because this future sucks. This sucks. This is not, in my opinion, what gaming should be about. It's not what it is to me. So, Mr. Butt, you're saying, Mr. Buttols, I guess is what I'll call you. Could this be the last Xbox, seeing that from here on out they want to be a service? Seems like they want to leave their console behind. Yeah, that is very obvious. Microsoft does not care about console sales. They're just doing it so that way they don't upset the hardcore Xbox gamers, because there is still a big enough, for small as it may be, there still is a big enough audience that still likes and supports the Xbox console, to where if they were to remove the console and not put it out, the backlash would still be somewhat significant, and it wouldn't be good. And so, to me, I just saw it in front of my eyes, guys. Like, I saw it right before my eyes. Like, everybody tried to tell me, like, dude, you're wrong. Game Pass is fine. The games are going to be high quality. And I'm not saying that every single game Microsoft is going to put out on Game Pass will be low quality. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they all need to be AAA quality. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that when you take your biggest AAA franchise, your most important one, the one that's supposed to have the most money behind it, keep in mind, Halo Infinite, apparently the most expensive video game ever made in history. Let that sink in. And this is what you show me, and then you tell me the multiplayer is going to be free to play? I will never, ever support that. I will stop gaming before I support that bullshit. Trey, I am too. You're saying Mr. Buttholes is correct. And I've been saying I fear what this could do to the industry. See, that's the thing. That right there. These people, these people who frankly have much more of a wider reach than I do, they're like, let me tell you how great of a value Game Pass is. Game Pass is insane value. I get what you're doing, Microsoft. I see what you're doing. You're trying to win people over in the most instinctive, basic way you can, which is, can you really pass up a deal this good? And I get it. And it's working. And you have all these people, people like Yang Yeah and Alana Pierce. I don't have any issue with these individuals, but I listened to what they had to say, and they're all about how great of a deal it is, and others as well that I'm failing to mention. And I'm just like, no, please stop talking about it that way. Because if you're okay with the idea of this is what's going to happen. All right? Call me a fearmonger, call me a fanboy, whatever. I don't care. I'm going to tell you how it's going to go down if Microsoft succeeds with this. Microsoft is hedging all of their bets. Excuse me, I swallowed a freaking gnat. Hedging all of their bets on Game Pass. Okay, Game Pass is Xbox's future. It's the future of gaming under Microsoft. Now, if their future ends up being as successful as they want it to be, it's going to be for one reason and one reason only, and that reason will not be because of the quality. I want that to be understood. If that was the case, we would already be seeing quality from them. We would be seeing them take the Sony approach. If quality was their main goal and how they plan to sell people on their product and bring people in, you would already see that. Instead, what they're going for is they want to cast the widest net and make it as easy. They want to shove as many people in the door at one time as quickly as they possibly can. And mark my words, man. Mark my words. When you're talking about volume, I want to see the PS5 sell well. I want to see more people become PlayStation fans because I think that what they have on offer is great. However, that does not mean I want to see everybody and their mother suddenly become a PlayStation fan. That does not mean I suddenly want to see everybody and their mother and their brother and their sister and their cousins buying PlayStation. Well, not necessarily buying PlayStation consoles, but suddenly being like, oh, I'm all about PlayStation, because in order to be all about PlayStation, you have to invest. You have to invest. You have to get a console, and you have to support games at $60, okay? That's how you become a PlayStation fan. That's how you support PlayStation. With Xbox, you don't have to do any of that. With Xbox, all you gotta do is maybe boot up your phone if you wanted, subscribe to Xbox Ultimate, and through Game Pass, you can literally just play their games on your phone. And suddenly, before you know it, everybody and their mother does become an Xbox fan. And everybody's on board, and Microsoft succeeded, and they got everybody in the door, and it's the Netflix effect. I bitched about this last week, and I'm bitching about it again because it drives me insane to see so many people just jump on the idea. Like, I get it. Like, from a consumer standpoint, Game Pass's value is undeniable, and I'm not denying its value. However, what I am pointing out is the implications it will have, and we're already seeing it right in front of our eyes, the implications it's going to have on the future of game development, at least under Microsoft. And I'm telling you, you see Game Pass continue to be more and more of a success. You're going to see more and more publishers start to have their own version of Game Pass, and you're already seeing it. And all I can hope is that at some point somebody realizes that this is just it's just a race to the bottom. And everybody loses when you're talking. The only person who doesn't lose when you're talking about a race to the bottom is the person who never gave a shit and still doesn't give a shit. Okay? That's the only person that wins when you're talking about a race to the bottom. So straight from VA1, you're saying Game Pass concerns me because if it does become successful, then every developer would then come up with a similar service. Exactly. People are like, you can't argue Game Pass's value. And I'm not arguing its value. I'm arguing its implications that we're already kind of seeing right before our eyes. And you know what? People can continue to argue with me, but I'm just going to say, you know what? Take a good look at Halo Infinite, okay? That's the future of under Game Pass right there, okay? People are like, oh, well, the idea that Microsoft and their studios are not going to strive for quality because of this doesn't make sense. Of course, they're always going to strive for quality because quality is needed. No, it's not. Now, you have to understand, Microsoft's approach is essentially, let's just throw as much content at the wall. Let's greenlight Bleeding Edge. Let's greenlight Grounded. Let's greenlight anything these developers want to do and just let them do it and throw it all out there. Eventually, a couple things are going to stick, right? Yeah, you throw enough shit at the wall, something will stick. But the question is, how many low-quality games, how many mediocre games, how many disastrous games are we going to have to see? Maybe not disastrous. I mean, Halo Infinite almost looks disastrous to me, but how many just games that really, they're just not on the same quality level as any of these other games coming out from Sony or even some of these other AAA publishers? how many are we going to have to go through before we finally get that gem? To whereas if you took a different approach, I'm literally just, I feel like it's just a pointless, I don't think it's pointless for me to say this, but I understand I go off and I maybe become a little bit erratic. And some people, don't take me very seriously because it's like, oh, he's just bitching and whining and moaning and ranting. But let me put it to you this way. You need to always be aware of where your money's going when it comes to the products you're supporting, because you need to understand what they're trying to convey to you, okay? And I feel like the people who are sitting here basically saying, well, Game Pass is a great value, so you should be happy about that. But it's like, well, okay, from the most superficial level of speaking, yes, it's always great. It's easy to be happy about a good value, but at what cost? Oh, only $10. Really? Really? Just $10? That's the only cost associated with Game Pass? There's not maybe something else a little bit, more difficult to see, but you got to look a little bit closer. It's not coming at the cost of anything else. Just $10 a month or $15 a month. That's it. There's always a cost. Even if you can't see it right in front of your eyes, even though I think we can with Halo Infinite, there's always a cost. Calvin Smith, you're saying to understand what will happen, all people have to do is open up the Apple Store or Google Play, and you tell me how many quality games are there. Exactly. It's the race to the bottom. You saw it in the music industry with all the music service apps, and that had some serious ramifications, not not very good ones either for the music industry and artists. You saw it in movies and TV, and granted, I don't think it has been as detrimental, but guys, I've been using Netflix for years, and when I tell you there's a lot more not good stuff I've witnessed and watched on Netflix than there's good stuff. And you look at the HBO approach where it's like, what are the chances something coming out of HBO is going to be low quality? Pretty low, right? Dustin Ainsworth, you're saying Master is saying $180 a year to own nothing. How right they are. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's I haven't even talked about the idea of ownership, right? That I haven't even mentioned that. So I just look. I'm not trying to make it sound like we need to rise up. Like this is the most serious thing happening in life right now. I'm not saying that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of shit going on, but this is just one of those things where, look, this is within my hemisphere of something I feel very passionately about. And I'm not gonna accept it and just say, yeah, this is the future. No, and assume that Microsoft knows what's best for the future, while we have Sony very clearly, in my opinion, demonstrating the demonstrable difference between, what they're producing versus what Xbox is producing and the direction they're going. And so, Chris B, you're saying this classic look excuse started with Crackdown 3, and instead of demanding better, Xbox fanboys made excuses. Demand better, or Gears and Forza will be classic too. Yeah, dude, like, I've seen a lot of people be like, well, what about Forza and Gears? And like, what about them? What about them? You mean the only AAA franchises that Microsoft has been milking to death this entire generation? Not that there's anything wrong with it. Well, maybe there is. There's nothing wrong with the quality, but what's wrong is the volume. Like, you can't just keep doing that. You have to do something else. But it takes time. How much time? How much longer are we going to have to wait? We waited 5 years for Halo Infinite, and look at what we got. Rob C., thank you so much for becoming a member, buddy. Really do appreciate that. Appreciate all the support you guys are showing this independent content creator here. Look forward to your exclusive perks, buddy. Josh Z., you're saying Metroid Prime Trilogy on GameCube/Wii looks better than Halo Infinite in your opinion. I'm sure it does, dude. Halo Infinite looked literally like a 360, close to a 360 game. Not too far from like a late 360 game, okay? Got to drink my coffee, got to keep these energy levels high. But guys, we're going to move on. And to be honest, the next topic we're talking about is actually not too far removed from what we've been talking about. It's a little bit more about Game Pass, but more specifically, how Xbox's Aaron Greenberg has apparently confirmed that Game Pass is not very lucrative for them. They're not making a lot of money on it. So Before we do that, we have over 1,200 people watching. Thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with me. If you could do me a big favor, make sure you hit that like button to help the podcast out. It really helps more than you know. The algorithm just needs those likes in order to push the podcast out, and I know that a lot of you care greatly about the channel here and want to see it grow. So hit that like button. Let's see if we can get it to 700. That would be fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Game Pass here. Microsoft has admitted that Game Pass is not really making them a lot of money right now. This is interesting because it's a question that a lot of gamers have been wondering. Everyone seems to love just how good of a deal Game Pass is, but a lot of us have always seemed skeptical of the fact that is it actually profitable for Microsoft? Is it making them money? Is it making developers money? Aaron Greenberg recently confirmed in an interview that in the short term, Xbox Game Pass is not really that profitable for Microsoft. He did stress the importance of building up a base of customers and how it would pay off in the long run. As I said, he's straight up confirming exactly what I've been saying. They're just focused on trying to bring as many people in. So this confirms two things that most of us have already known. Game Pass is in fact not profitable for Microsoft, at least not yet. And two, it really is just about the number of games on offer and the number of gamers they can get in the door. Xbox's main goal is to just shove as many people in as they can. At this point in time, it has become crystal clear that Xbox's future is Game Pass, not the console. And that's kind of depressing in my opinion, considering how Xbox started. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because, guys, it's pretty much something I've already been talking about. Look, all I'm seeing from Xbox side of things is, as time goes on, is they're just deviating more and more from the traditional gaming space, the console gaming space, and I'm just frankly not going to support it. If anything, I'm going to push back against it because, Sony is proving that, and Nintendo for that matter, they're proving that the traditional way of doing things is not only still very relevant, not only that's what the majority of people still want to see, but it's just, in my opinion, the better way of doing things. I would have preferred to see Google try to have their own Game Pass or something and focus on this, not Microsoft, because the thing about Microsoft is I've always believed that out of every company, they still have the most potential to really compete at that high level with Sony in a similar way, not copy Sony, not do exactly what Sony's doing, but really kind of bring their own flavor, but retain that type of high quality, retain that type of, AAA polish that we all look forward to seeing in our big AAA $60 games. And, again, I feel like this conversation would be completely different if what we saw from Halo Infinite was good, if it was impressive, and if it did look next gen. But I just have to end this topic by letting you guys know that what I've been seeing is two things: a clear divide. I've seen people on one side of the fence, not many, but they're there, damage controlling Halo's graphics, damage controlling the game itself, damage controlling Xbox's direction, and still trying to argue that we're going to see quality, that we're going to see competition. And look, if you're an individual who has decided that you don't care about those things, that you just like the direction Xbox is going in better, regardless of what it may mean for the future of quality, regardless of what it may mean for the future of AAA games, then that's fine. You're perfectly fine in having that stance in that position. And frankly, I can't argue that because that's what you want. But as for me and as for many others who I think have supported these things over the years, it's not something that we want to see slowly stripped away. It's not something we want to see the masses decide that it's okay when it really shouldn't be. And it makes me feel good. And I know that this may piss some Xbox guys off, but frankly, I don't care at this point. It makes me feel good to see the Craig memes. It makes me feel good to see people kind of revolting against what we just witnessed with Halo Infinite. Because that's the message that Xbox needs to get loud and clear. That's the message that 343 needs to get loud and clear, which is we're not going to accept this. And the thing that is still concerning to me, for as happy as I am to see that pushback, is, again, I know I'm a broken record. I know I've said this multiple times last week and this week, but I have to continue to push back against it, is you see these prominent figures within the industry advocating for Game Pass while all of this is going down. You know, rather than acknowledging the damage that Game Pass is potentially doing to these AAA games. And hell, you know, let me ask you guys, and I want to see what the chat has to say. Is it crazy to think? Am I off the mark here? Is it crazy to think that maybe, just maybe, Phil Spencer and Team Xbox signed off on that Halo Infinite demo and signed off on the idea of making the multiplayer free to play because of Game Pass? Am I crazy to think that? Is it because maybe they thought, well, this is all about value, and Halo getting it for free with, you know, free to play multiplayer and getting access to the campaign for $10? How can anybody argue that value? So it's okay if we signed off, right? It's on this. It's okay if we show this. Am I crazy for thinking that? Because to me, it makes perfect sense. And I can't fault Phil Spencer's logic if that was his logic. But doesn't mean I need to support it. And I'm not going to, and I'm going to push back against it. And so, oh, they signed off. Yeah, they did sign off, all right. I mean, look, I had my issues with The Last of Us Part 2 story, but I will tell you one thing right now. No one can deny the quality level of that game from just top to bottom. Putting the story aside, every aspect of that game is, I would say, quadruple A quality. And you know what? Even though I didn't like that story, even though I did pay $60 for it, I'm not going to sit here and say I regret that regret buying it, because you know what? At the very least, I know, hell, maybe the story wasn't for me. Maybe it really just rubbed me the wrong way. But goddamn, that is a high quality video game, a high quality AAA story driven video game. And I will support that any goddamn day of the week before I support some fucking free to play, you know, last gen looking garbage. And I know that sounded really brutal, but it's just the truth. And you guys deserve the truth. Spider-Man, you're saying this is the best next-gen war ever. We go from which is the most powerful to the fastest, and now the best meme console between Bug Snacks and Craig the Brute. Yeah, dude. I see people saying language, MBG. I know. Look, I like to think most of us are adults here. I've been getting way more lenient with swearing on my podcast. I'm trying real hard not to get that way because I just feel like it's not classy, to be honest. But when I get heated, it's hard not to get that way. I just don't want to see Microsoft's future basically take over the gaming industry. That's all it boils down to, guys. So, yeah, you know, when Hellblade 2 comes out, if I think it looks good, which I think it will, you better believe I'm going to buy a hard physical copy at full price for that game because they deserve it. If Ninja Theory delivers on that game, they deserve it. They deserve more than me just paying $10. They deserve more than a fan whose only concern is, well, how cheap can I get it for? Okay, they deserve more than that. And that's that's honestly just how I function. And people can call me dumb because I'm passing up a good value. But you know what, man? It is what it is. Newell, you're saying, nah, bro, curse like a sailor. I just don't want to do that because I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, everybody's cooler when they swear and they curse. But it's like, I mean, I feel like it won't hold as much weight. You know, dropping an F-bomb or saying something, it's just not going to hold as much weight if it comes out of your mouth every couple of minutes. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, guys, I had to rant about this more because I don't know how much longer we're going to have to deal with this. What I do know is this is a big reason why I'm buying the PS5 and why I'm so excited for the games that Sony has showed. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that every game I'm anticipating is going to be, like, I think Fable has the potential to be great. A big AAA game. I think State of Decay 3, although, I mean, I have no idea what to expect from it. My hope for that game is it's going to be great. And it's going to be AAA, you know? That's my hope. But all I can talk about right now is what Microsoft has shown me as the gamer who tuned into their July event. And so we are going to move right along to the next topic. This one should be interesting, although I'm not sure how much I have to say on it. I was a little bit pressed for time yesterday, by the way, guys. Tried desperately to get videos out for you that I thought were relevant. And I was struggling to come up with some topics. Normally at the end of my podcast, I have a general news section. I'm still going to do that, but I'm just going to refer to my phone and just kind of highlight some of the interesting articles and probably just read some of the headlines to let you guys know, as long as the headlines are informative, what's been going on. Zach, you're saying, I've been seeing videos saying Halo development has been crap. I would delay it for a year or two to fix it. Yeah, that's another thing as well, dude, that I haven't mentioned before I move on here is I really do think that, Microsoft could change my perspective on what their goal is with Game Pass if they were to delay the game. I genuinely mean that because you look at what happened with the Master Chief Collection, you look at what happened with Halo 5, and I'll tell you right now, Phil Spencer, Microsoft, this is your opportunity to prove that it's not just about quantity. It's not just about getting something out as quickly as possible when it needs to come out, because you know when Halo needs to come out, when it's ready to come out. Not because it needs to launch alongside your console. No other reason than it needs to come out when it's ready. And if Phil could actually delay the game, even if it was for like 6 months, that would at least prove to me that, okay, they are actually concerned about the quality and they're not just concerned about pushing it out. And I'm telling you, if they push this game out and it is this quality level or anywhere close to this, it's going to be a disaster. And I will be paying close attention to the quality level of this game. And mark my words, if it's anywhere near the quality level we're seeing right now, I will tear into Xbox harder than I've ever teared into them, because it will be the last straw. Mark my words. Oh, Yakarumi, you're saying, am I the only one that finds Matt Booty's name funny? It's like having a neighbors called the Cracks, the Booties and the Cracks. Sorry, I just had to get out. I'm not going to lie, man. That is a really funny last name. And frankly, what a terrible last name to have, man. Like, could you imagine what school must have been like for him? I feel kind of bad. Adrian Pollard, you're saying, yeah, I'm really nervous about Microsoft ruining gaming. How do developers feel about this? Talk to me, MBG. Much love, Sai. Yeah, I don't know, man. I appreciate that. I don't know. Some developers seem to really like it, and others are a little bit like, I think the one thing that Game Pass is really good for is giving games a lot more exposure than they otherwise would have had. But still, if your game is good, that should be enough, right? Like, shouldn't that be enough? If your game is really good, people will play it and talk about it. I mean, that's not always the case. You have what are called hidden gems, and I will agree that maybe, I can admit maybe that's one positive of Game Pass, but still. Plus on Black, you're saying, I'm trying to figure out how they will make money on it. It takes 100,000 streams to count as one CD sale for music streams. Wow, really? I never knew that. That's insane. And CDs at the most are $10. How do sales on VG streams work? Well, see, these are questions that we don't have answers to. I can only assume that based off of what Aaron Greenberg is saying, he's claiming that Game Pass is not yet really that profitable for them. And I think the reason for that is because they have to pay developers a significant amount of money, right, in order to entice them to bring their games over to Game Pass. Because if they weren't paying them that money, then any rational developer, anybody who knows anything, is going to be like, yeah, no, that's not a good deal for me, because I'm probably not going to make a lot of money off of it, or at least not nearly as much as I would make if I just sold it on the store normally. Even if you do get less exposure, you see what I'm saying? And Phil Spencer has always said that Game Pass results in higher game sales, but maybe that's true, but I don't know, man. I mean, I guess that is true, because it's like you could demo them, but still, I don't know, man. How many people are really, after subscribing to your service, deciding I'm now going to pay $60 for this game? When you know what you got, and you know what you got is good, sell it for what you think it's worth. That's how it goes, man. That's how it should go, in my opinion. Anyway, we're going to move right along here to the next topic. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. We are right on the cusp of hitting 700 likes. Let's see if we can possibly get to 800 before the podcast is over. I'm going to take a little bit of time here. Again, I don't know how much I have to say about this, but God knows it has been something that people have been talking about a lot this week. Gabe Newell recently gave his opinion on which next-gen console he thinks is better, and without hesitation, he said the Xbox. And when asked to give a reason, he simply responded with, because it's better. Now, I'm talking about this because a lot of people have asked me to give my opinion on this, to give my thoughts on this. And, I just frankly think it's kind of funny because, of course, I have been an individual on the channel. I've taken a lot of time here to highlight certain things that prominent figures in the industry and developers are saying about the PS5 and why they seem to prefer the PS5 or why they're talking more about the PlayStation 5 specs and not necessarily the Xbox Series X specifications. And so I understand that people are like, well, why aren't you talking about this? And it's like, don't you guys understand? Like, did you not see the reason he gave? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to say, well, guys, I guess the PS5 definitely does suck because Gabe Newell says the Xbox is better? Like, come on. And I'm not even mentioning the fact that Gabe Newell, look, I mean, he's the owner of Steam. I pointed out the other day that 4 of the top 6 best sellers on Steam are Microsoft games. They're Xbox games. So I'm not saying that that's why he said that. I think it's just clear that the man has a preference. He just likes it. MBG, the dealer podcast, I guess you're saying RDX, said they invited you on their show and you didn't want to. Is it because they're too much of Xbox fanboys? I don't recall ever being invited onto their podcast. I mean, if they did, I am not aware of it. And I'm going to be honest right now, I don't know if I would go on that podcast simply because, I mean, come on, that's essentially like, let's have a boxing match right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's the podcast equivalent of what would be going on there. Maybe that it would be entertaining, right? But it's just we're at odds here. You know what I mean? Like, we're at complete odds. Like, they really support Xbox and they like Xbox, and I will admit that there are some members of that panel that I do think are a little bit more level-headed than others. But it is what it is. They have their they have their preferences, they have their reasonings, they have their justifications, just as I have mine. And I'm sure they think, you say you'd pay $5,000 for MBG to join RDX as a guest. I would only be willing, and I don't even know, I'm not going to say this because I already know what the expectation was, but I'm just going to put this out there. I think it would only be fair if I were to do a podcast, if it was with another like Xbox-centric person, like, and they're pretty much at opposite ends, with me here, it would have to be with one individual, not like 6, because I just feel like that's like basically me trying to get jumped. You know what I mean? Like on a podcast, it would be really difficult because it just wouldn't make sense to me. But everybody has their opinion. But I saw people mentioning this Gabe Newell thing, and like, listen, the guy just clearly prefers Xbox, and he even said he doesn't have a horse in this race. He's just saying what he thinks is better. And you know what? To be fair, from a spec sheet point of view, if you're talking about T-flops, he's not wrong. Like, yeah, it is the better console. It's the more powerful console in that sense, although we all know that that's not really, that's not really the best way to determine how good a console is going to actually be. But Zach, you're saying, I don't think Gabe really cares, man. He's just messing with people. Exactly. Like, that's why I didn't really, and I know, like, people are like, oh, if he said it was the PS5, you'd be all over that. And maybe I would. I mean, sure, like, I probably would have made a video and be like, but how much could I have said? If he just said, because it's better, I literally just would have said, I agree. I think the PlayStation 5 is better. And I could inject any reasoning I want to, because this is why I covered Tim Sweeney's comments. This is why I covered developers' comments, because they don't, they give more reasoning. Like, if Gabe Newell actually like sat there and explained for a minute like why he thought the Xbox was better, I probably would have covered that, because it's like, okay, that's pretty significant. But he probably was just caught off guard with the question, and he just doesn't care. We know he had some beef with PlayStation back with the PS3 days, so for people wondering why I'm not talking about it, it's because what can I really say about it? The dude has his own preference. I can't sit here and be like, oh, he's wrong and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, he has his own damn preference. So, yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people asking me if I'm ever going to like invite guests on my podcast, or if I'm going to guest on anybody else's podcast. And I'm definitely not closing the door on anything. I just feel that right now I'm most comfortable with the flow I have going on now. But in the future, the podcast is going to evolve. I, as a content creator, am going to evolve. And as these things evolve, there's a really good chance that in the future, we may be, you may see me guesting on a podcast. You may see me bring some people on. Who knows what will happen? But, you guys have to understand as well that I am kind of at odds with a lot of not just Xbox guys, but a lot of the gaming stuff, and that's one thing that I think some people don't realize is everybody has their, let me put it to you this way. A lot of you guys say, oh, we listen to you MBG because you're real, you don't bullshit. And, I try my best not to ever do that. And as a content creator, when you have an audience, especially when sometimes you have a lot of eyes on you, it can become easier to kind of fall into that trap of doing that. And I try my best, especially on the podcast, not to. And there's a lot of people who just wouldn't want to be involved with me because they just think I'm too much bullshit or I'm too much drama or I'm not professional enough or whatever. And that's why, that's another thing where it's you never know how people are going to respond. People might not want to be on my podcast. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm just kind of, thinking out loud here. Mr. Hamster, you're saying MBG's words carry more weight than Gabe. Damn, I don't know about that, but let me put it to you this way. If Gabe Newell actually gave a single reason other than it's just better, we'd probably be having a different conversation right now. But Henry, you're saying Gabe Newell doesn't care about quality video games. Steam is a good indicator of this. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Valve doesn't really make games anymore either very much. You also have to think about the competition that Gabe Newell is probably in to a certain extent with PlayStation VR, considering Half-Life Alyx or whatever. But anyway, guys, we're going to move on. I know we're moving right through these topics, but I was having a little bit of a difficult time coming up with a lot of meaningful topics simply because this is kind of the problem a little bit here with having a solo podcast and daily content is the last thing I want to do with this podcast is just make it a regurgitation of everything we talked about earlier this week. So I try my best to inject different topics or different conversations, even though, we do repeat some stuff, but the last thing I do want to talk about here before we move on to just the general news and the Q&A with the chat are the upcoming events. Again, this is a little bit of a regurgitation, but I just kind of want to see what you guys are thinking. I did put out a second video yesterday where we seemingly have more evidence that we could very well be seeing a state of play as soon as next week. So the upcoming PS5 August event or state of play, I want to discuss this again because there's a very good chance that it's actually going to be announced this week, maybe even tomorrow. The latest update I have for you is that the PS5 Future of Gaming playlist was secretly updated over the weekend. It was updated the other day. So this pretty much confirms, I don't say it confirms, but it's a very good indicator that an announcement for this could be coming very soon. And so we also have the Xbox August event. And before I get into that spacebar, you're saying you think it's a culture issue. A lot of Sony executives are hardcore gamers. Microsoft's executives seem more like casuals themselves. For sure, dude. You can literally just tell by the marketing of Xbox that a lot of those people are not what you would consider a traditional gamer or a hardcore gamer or somebody who's at the core of gaming. I'm not saying that they don't play games, but I think that the marketing makes it kind of obvious. Oyakarumi, you're saying maybe having a podcast called Xbox Presence, Booty, and Crack. I don't know about that, man. That just sounds like being outwardly egregious, and trolly. True Witty, you're saying Phil admits Game Pass is not making money. Thoughts? I actually just talked about that, buddy. So fortunately, I can't talk about it again. I don't want to repeat myself, but we did just get done talking about that. So you'll have to go back after and rewatch that. But when it comes to the, you're saying MBG, I have an important question. Do you think we will play as Captain Marvel in the Avengers PS4? I'm going to say no. I feel like Spider-Man will probably be the last character that's announced, although Captain Marvel could possibly come afterwards as DLC. So I don't know about that. But when it comes to these upcoming events, guys, what are the expectations for the State of Play? What are the expectations for the August Xbox event? Well, for me, and I will be interested to see what you guys have to say. For me, my expectations are kind of polar opposite for both. When it comes to Xbox's event, I have no expectation. My expectation is non-existent because all I truly expect is either nothing exciting or for Microsoft to once again shoot themselves in the foot somehow. Because, I told you guys that when this July 23rd event happened, if they didn't really deliver in the way that they should, and granted, I know they showed some new IP, which is great. They did show some new games, but come on. We have to be honest here. Was it the event it needed to be? We already talked about this. No, it wasn't. So at this point, my expectation for their August event, I'll still, I will still look at it. I'll still watch it and I'll stream it. Thank you, FreezeVamp. I will still watch it and stream it if it's going to be streamed, which I'm sure it is, just at that point for the entertainment value. But I want to see them unveil the Xbox Series S. I want to see the response to it. I want to see if they're going to show more gameplay. I mean, come on, like Phil Spencer and their team, what's it going to take? What's it going to take for them to realize that you're just not delivering in the way you need to? This was your moment. So when it comes to my expectations for them, they're non-existent. And if I were to have any expectations, my expectation is they're going to drop the ball yet again. Ekim, you're saying, I hope Sony gives us a good surprise in August. And so, yeah, talking about the August event, it's going to happen. And it seems, here's my big question with the August event. And this is where things get a little bit confusing because we're all anticipating all of this information, right? Like we're talking about new games, new AAA exclusives, maybe God of War, maybe Silent Hill, maybe something else we're just not privy to, third-party games, third-party announcements, third-party exclusives, PS4 games potentially, indie games, all this stuff that we know Sony probably has to show. But then we're talking about the PS5 teardown, learning more about the OS, learning about pre-ordering and pricing. And I will tell you this, I've heard rumors that apparently Sony has plans to have multiple events or event-like things going down in August, or just multiple announcements scattered throughout August. And I do believe this because it makes the most sense. It simply doesn't make sense for Sony to do everything at once in a single state of play in early August. I don't think you're going to see a console teardown during a state of play. I don't necessarily even think you're going to see pricing. I could be wrong about that, but another big question it leaves me with, and I've been asking this a lot because I'm genuinely curious, and I think I'm so curious because it makes me a little bit nervous as to what our expectations really should be for this Sony event. What is this state of play format going to be like? Because if you look at every other state of play format, it hasn't really run longer than 20 to 25 minutes. And you can announce a lot in that time frame, but I feel like with a state of play, the chances of it being not as good, I don't want to say as good, that's not the right word, but it being not as big as or exciting as what we saw with the PS5 event, the chances of that being the case are probably high up. But the big question I'm left with is, will we potentially see a format change with State of Play? And this is what I'm most interested in, because State of Play, if Sony wanted to, they could make it 35 minutes. They could make it 40 minutes. But if they make it that long, you have to assume that the reason they would do that is not because that's just how many announcements they have. Because at that point, guys, you have to understand 40 minutes is a long time. 45 minutes is a long time to be showing game announcements. So I'd have to assume it would be a mixture of more gameplay and new game announcements. So, the big question people have is, will we see two State of Plays? Will this State of Play just be dedicated to announcing more games and having maybe a big surprise, maybe Silent Hill? And then later on, we'll have another State of Play that's just dedicated to Spider-Man Miles Morales gameplay. I think that could be true. What about, but again, there's just, I guess what I'm trying to say here is Sony still has so much left to show and left to talk about that we just don't know how they're going to approach it. We just don't know what to expect. And so I guess for me, it really just kind of comes down to Sony's going to be announcing something this upcoming week. And I think it will be a state of play. In fact, I think we will have a state of play later this week. And, rest assured, I will stream all of this stuff. It's not something that I'm obviously not going to talk about or not stream. I will be streaming all of it. And so I think it's likely that we're going to see the Silent Hill announcement. I'm going to be honest. My expectation for the state of play is we're going to see some third-party stuff. We're going to see Call of Duty. We're going to see the Avengers. We're going to find out that Spider-Man is exclusive to the PS5 version of the Avengers. And I think we're going to see the big Silent Hill reveal. And I think that will be the big mic drop moment for that state of play. I think there's more than enough evidence that this is something we can anticipate. Chris B, you're saying, I think there will be a state of play dedicated to third-party games with a first-party reveal at the end. Yeah, I could see that as well. Maybe not necessarily a first-party reveal. If it was God of War, then yes, that would be first-party. For me, it seems more likely it would be the Silent Hill, which would be a second/third-party deal. So I don't know, guys. It's anybody's guess. I think that's a good guess, dude. I think that at this point, what we do know for sure is that Sony has a hell of a lot more to show and reveal, and it's very exciting. And I couldn't be more excited for the PS5 than I am right now, but something tells me that Sony's going to find a way and manage to actually get me more excited. And a lot of people have been asking me, are you going to do like an unboxing of the PS5 when you get it? And probably I've seen a lot of people requesting that. So I probably will do some type of unboxing. I don't know how I'll do it or, how I should approach that. But either way, we could do that. I think a lot of you would enjoy that. But yeah, so that's pretty much all the main topics I have, guys. This podcast has been kind of one hell of a podcast, to say the least, especially the first 20 minutes. That was kind of crazy. And so what I want to do now is I'm kind of thinking about, because my voice is starting to go here, because, I had to scream and rant about Xbox for some reason again, which is always interesting when I do that. But I'm kind of considering just foregoing the general news, but I guess I could just give a little I could maybe just give a little, I don't know. We could do a little bit here before we go into the Q&A with the chat, because I know you guys always look forward to the Q&A. Freeze Vamp, you're saying you heard that the UI for PS5 might show up at this state of play and some new features. Yeah, I mean, for all I know, maybe Sony could find a way to cram all of these things into a single 25-minute state of play, but I just feel like there's so much left that you can't bombard people with too much. You can't overwhelm them, because that can also work against you. You have to find the right balance. And I think that there's more than enough for Sony to kind of divvy up, when and how they want to reveal this stuff. But let me scroll through here. Okay, here's an interesting one. So apparently we're getting some information on the Last of Us HBO series. And the creator is saying that they plan to enhance the source material. Now, obviously, there was a lot of drama regarding Last of Us, but I got to be honest with you guys, I will certainly tune in to this HBO Last of Us series, even if it's a complete disaster. I hope it's not, but I will certainly tune into it. It's too interesting not to watch. So I especially after what happened with what happened with the whole story of The Last of Us 2. I'm interested to see, how they will approach a Last of Us HBO series, what that storytelling will be like. Hold on, let me bring this up. Normally I have this stuff written down, but I have to go off my phone right now. So here's another rumor that's come out that is pretty interesting. I may make a dedicated video to this because I do find it interesting. The rumor says that the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller is expected to have 3 to 4 more hours of battery life than the DualShock 4. And apparently it is not compatible with PlayStation VR. Now, I think this is great if it's true, because I think our biggest concern with the PS5 controller is what's the battery life going to be like, because we know it has all these features that could potentially drain the battery pretty quickly, and we know that that's an issue that the DualShock 4 suffered from, where the biggest complaint seemingly was the battery life. So I believe that, and I hope it's true, because that would significantly enhance, I think, people's experience with the DualSense controller. The idea of it not being compatible with PSVR, I do believe this because we don't know, how Sony wants to approach VR in the future. And the thing is, anybody who currently owns a PlayStation VR, they're going to own a DualShock 4 controller, obviously. So it makes sense that Sony would just be like, well, they could just use their DualShock 4. Not only that, Sony will continue to sell the DualShock 4 for some time. But moving right along here, Halo Infinite multiplayer free to play. We already went over that. Okay, yeah, here's that article I was looking at, guys. It says the PS4 could have been the end for PlayStation, says former executive. So, actually, that's a pretty lengthy article, so I don't want to read that. But here's another one. Apparently, we're continuing to hear rumors that Xbox Live Gold will be retired and online multiplayer will become free. So Jeff Grubb, who proved to be extremely reliable in terms of gaming leaks, stated today that Xbox Live is, quote, going away, unquote, and Xbox online multiplayer will become free, so there will not be any need to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to play online. And that's pretty much all he said, and goes on to say that, Jeff Grubb has been reliable in the past. And this is something that we're all kind of waiting for. I will admit to you guys right now, I'm not saying this is going to happen because I don't know, nor do I think that it's likely Microsoft would do this. I mean, it makes sense for their overarching plan, but my God, the amount of money they would be leaving on the table. I will admit, if Microsoft were to announce this month at their August event that their multiplayer is going completely free and you no longer need to buy Xbox Live, that's a mic drop moment. I can admit that. That would be a mic drop moment. That would be huge. I don't think it would stop the momentum for PS5, frankly. But I do think that it would make Sony sweat a little bit, because at that point, that would be a huge talking point for Xbox in a very positive way if they were to do that. And it would put a lot of pressure on Sony to, as I said previously, do one of two things. They would either have to follow suit, which I do not think Sony would do that. Sony certainly is enjoying the money that they're making, and I don't think they could afford to do that, honestly. But the other thing they could do is try to significantly enhance the value proposition for PlayStation Plus, because I'm not about the idea of multiplayer being locked behind a paywall. Microsoft was the one to start it. Sony obviously followed it. And so it's a situation where it's like, well, I guess Microsoft may be the one to undo it. And I think that would be a big deal for Microsoft. Even Jeff Grubb saying it's going to go away, but I don't know, man. That would be huge. Chat, I want to know, tell me, what would you think, honestly, what would you think if Microsoft announced this month that they're removing the multiplayer paywall permanently? Like, there's no catch-22. They're just axing it. Multiplayer is free on Xbox going forward. What would your reaction be, and how big of a deal do you think this would be for Sony and the PS5? I'm going to be looking at the chat, see what you guys are saying. Chris B, you're saying, I think Sony may add PS Now to PS Plus or drop the price of PS Plus to $30 a year. That's a possibility as well. But again, it's hard to, I don't know, man. Wouldn't matter to you. Highly doubt it. PS3 was free. It would be a big deal. Back to the PS3 days. You say you think they will do it, but won't do it, but they might have to. Yeah, I mean, guys, I don't know. I can't deny that would be a massive mic drop moment for Sony if they were to do that, because you're talking about, I don't know, man. Like, it makes sense for Microsoft in the when you think about like their goals with free to play multiplayer, Game Pass, and accessibility. What doesn't make sense is how much, just how much money they would be foregoing. It just seems like it doesn't make sense for them to do that, right? So I don't know, man. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I would say, man, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I would, if Microsoft did that, I would have to give them a hand and say, okay, that is a big deal. That is it's a game changer to a certain extent, but I don't mean to sound pompous, and I'm certainly not advocating for a multiplayer paywall, but do you think maybe this is where an area where Sony would just be like, that's nice, but we know our following is loyal. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Sony could get away with that. Unfortunately, I would love to see Sony drop the paywall, but I don't think they will. Would Xbox stop giving away free games away? Yeah, they would have to. They would absolutely have to. I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, if they're going to not make, I don't know, man. I would imagine they would get rid of the games with gold. Samson, you're saying, I mean, all their games would be on PC, so it's only fair because PC guys get to play online for free. LOL, no biggie. That is a good point that I completely forgot about. Yes, that is another big reason why it would make sense for Microsoft to do that. And if they're only keeping the paywall behind the console and they don't care about how many consoles they sell, in a way, they're basically saying they don't care how much revenue they're making from Xbox Live Gold membership. Henry, you're saying, I'm sure I'm in the minority, but I don't have a PS Plus and I don't care about online games. Well, you know what? Maybe, I mean, you may be in the minority. It's hard to say, but I'm sure there's a decent amount of people who are in the same boat, actually, who are just like, I only care about my single player games. It doesn't require PS Plus. I don't care. Kelvin Smith, you're saying there is a catch-22 because they will up the cost of their other services. Watch and see. They need to be profitable. Yeah, very good, Kelvin. I didn't think about that, and I didn't consider that. That's actually a very good indicator that we could, in fact, see them decide, okay, well, Game Pass is increasing to $15 a month and Ultimate is increasing to $20 a month. Would that be enough to offset it? It's hard to say. But you are right. They do, in the end, they need to be profitable. They're willing to dip into the red for quite some time if they have to, as long as they see at some point in the future, if it goes the way they're anticipating numbers-wise, it will go up into the green. So, yeah, maybe a short-term sacrifice potentially. But you're right, man. Like, I think that would be a really good excuse for them to just suddenly be like, now all of the price of all our services are going up. Heisenberg, you're saying Microsoft makes over $1 billion per year from Xbox Live. I cannot see Microsoft sacrificing a multiplayer subscription without raising the price of Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it just, you talk about them making $1 billion. Like, are they really just going to leave $1 billion on the table? No. I mean, maybe they could take a cut. Like you said, like they could increase the price of Game Pass, but I feel like they couldn't increase it that significantly. FreezeVamp, you're saying your message has been skipped. Sorry, buddy. I can't keep up with all of the messages. That's why we'll do a dedicated Q&A at the end. All right. So stay tuned for that. Let me just continue going down here and seeing. Apparently, here's an interesting one. PlayStation Now to feature movie streaming next month. So there's a report saying that apparently we're going to get movie streaming on PlayStation Now. So maybe that's something Sony will announce. I don't know. Yeah, there's like a promotional image here for the movie, The Tax Collector. And at the bottom, it shows all of the different ways you can access the movie. There's Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, Dish, Vudu, Verizon, Fandango, Spectrum, Xbox, and PlayStation Now is listed there. So I guess we might see movie streaming coming to PlayStation Now. That certainly will add some value to it, as long as the pricing doesn't go up. Here's another really interesting one, guys. Apparently, EA is more interested than ever before in buying out WB Games. So it might not be Microsoft that gets WB Games. It could be EA, which I think a lot of people would not be happy about because it's EA. I don't know. EA's gotten a little bit better. Let's be real. They've improved a little bit in the past year or two. I think they got the message hopefully loud and clear when it comes to Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we see what they did with, hell, they're bringing back Skate. So that alone makes me be like, okay, I'm on board, EA. You got me. I'm ready for the next version of Skate. but they also brought out, Jedi Fallen Order, which was fantastic. So, Josh Z, you're saying I had PS Plus for the deals on online stores, not multiplayer. Very interesting. See, there's also a lot of people who don't really just buy PlayStation Plus for just the multiplayer, right? Let me see. Let me read this. So EA could be considering Warner Brothers gaming division buyout. So let me read this to you. During the company's latest financial call, CFO Blake Jorgensen, however you pronounce it, hints that the acquisition could be under serious consideration. When asked about snapping up new studios, with the question suggesting a big asset like Warner Brothers gaming division, Jorgensen says that EA is more interested than ever in acquiring new talent. So we could be reading into it too much, but that is a pretty significant thing. He didn't mention, he didn't mention Warner Brothers explicitly, but we could see that. So here's another interesting one. You ready? I find this one interesting because this harkens back to the GTA 5 reveal we got at the PS5 event in the beginning. And a lot of people were not happy about this because it was very clear that Rockstar and Take-Two are planning to resell GTA 5, the enhanced and expanded version. I find that wording very interesting because a lot of people are like, don't support that. That's BS. And I completely agree. Like, the upgrade should be free. We see a lot of other publishers putting it out for free. However, I told people to pay attention to the expanded part. Obviously, it'll be enhanced, but the expanded part could, end up being the reason why they are planning to resell it. There's a rumor here that apparently GTA Online plans to add Liberty City and Niko Bellic. So this rumor stems from Reddit, so you have to take it with a massive pinch of salt. The user, I can't read that username, but this is a user on Reddit who has accurately leaked GTA Online news in the past. So that's important to understand, is they have accurately leaked GTA Online news, okay? So it's not just a random person with no credibility whatsoever. That's why I'm actually reading this. Oyakarumi, you're saying there's something I don't get. Xbox say they don't care about their console, but want to be the market leader. How is that? Well, to be honest, man, they don't care about being the market leader, not in the console space. They have foregone that to Sony and Nintendo, which is unfortunate because I think if they made the right moves, they could, not become the market leader overnight, but they could certainly be in the race. I don't think they're in the race anymore. But it goes on to say here that this individual has accurately, so they accurately leaked info about GTA Online in the past. More specifically, they accurately predicted the announcement of Grand Theft Auto, the Grand Theft Auto 5 PlayStation 5 port, citing a roommate that used to work at Rockstar Games before they were ultimately let go from the company. Apparently, the same roommate has said that GTA Online update, a big GTA Online update, is planned for December and will feature Liberty City as a new location to explore. Not only will Liberty City evidently be making its way to GTA Online, but familiar Grand Theft Auto 4 characters will be making appearances as well, if the rumor is to be believed. Fans can look forward to the long-awaited return of GTA 4 protagonist Niko Bellic. And so apparently the voice actor is returning, and his eccentric cousin Roman Bellic is also going to be in GTA Online. So, yeah, guys, I gotta tell you, I kind of believe this because not only has this person accurately leaked this in the past, but this would explain why, they're willing to charge for the upgrade. But it is worth noting that they're claiming this is going to be dropping in December. Now, that would obviously be after the PS5 is already out. And if you remember the announcement that Sony made when it comes to their partnership with Rockstar Games, for the first, I think, 3 months, anybody who buys a PS5 will get this for free. You will get GTA Online, and I'm assuming the enhanced single player, but I'm not sure about that. It might just be the online, but you will get it for free. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, if this is true, I'm actually going to be pretty excited for that because I plan to have a PS5 in the first 3 months. And if they want to give me, thank you for that, Keith Jones. If they want to give me an enhanced and expanded version of GTA Online that features Liberty City and Niko Bellic, I'm on board for that, man. That sounds pretty awesome to me. I would pay for that. I'm not going to lie to you. I would easily pay for Liberty City to imagine that running on the PS5. That would be sick. Now, I don't want to get anybody too excited because this is just a leak or a rumor, but that sounds pretty awesome. So chat, let me know. Would you want that? Would you be excited for that? Let me see here. I don't think there's really anything else significant to go over here. I mean, we have some more comments from like Xbox's Matt Booty about Fable, but it's nothing really significant. He's just saying that they plan to, kind of keep it true to what it is, but also do new things. But yeah, let me see what you guys are saying about GTA. Some of you are saying you can't wait for GTA 5. Didn't Roman die? Well, yeah, but even if he did, like, it might not necessarily be like, I don't know. He didn't die, did he? I don't think Roman died. It's been a long time since I've beaten GTA 4. Somebody let me know. Did Roman die? Even if he did, I mean, they could just bring him back. It's going to be an online, so he'll just be probably one of the mission givers, which would be pretty cool. But I don't know. That sounds pretty exciting to me. Let me see here. Yeah, I think, guys, that I pretty much covered all of the relevant news. I see somebody mentioning about Hideo Kojima and Junji Ito working together. I think he recently confirmed that they're not actually working together, and that people were getting a little bit out of hand. Roman died on his wedding. Oh, okay. Yeah, but even if he did die, like, they could, look, Roman dying wasn't the canon ending. Yeah, wasn't there multiple endings? They could easily bring him back. I mean, you can't bring Nico Bellic back without bringing his brother back, right? So yeah, okay, here's one last interesting one I want to do before we move on to a chat Q&A. Apparently a 24 karat gold PS5 is coming later this year via Truly Exquisite, and it will be available in limited numbers. Truly Exquisite has revealed a stunning custom 24 karat gold PS5 model that will be launching in extremely limited numbers this holiday season, most likely in December. Officially titled the Special Limited Luxury Edition, this gold-plated PS5 will be available directly from Truly Exquisite as well as a few luxury retailers around the world, but in extremely limited numbers. There's also a platinum PS5 and rose gold PS5 up for grabs in addition to the 24 karat gold version. I'm just trying to see if they're listing prices here. So they said there'll probably be more than 100 released worldwide. They don't list the pricing. So, I mean, $15,000 or more for a PS5? Guys, come on. Make it happen. Make it happen for me. Get me one of those gold or platinum PS5s, and I'll do an unboxing. I'm just kidding. That's ridiculous. I mean, you got to be like, I don't know. You got to be pretty rich to just be like, okay, I'm going to drop like probably $20,000 on a PS5 now. I mean, would you even play that PS5? I wouldn't even play. I'd be too afraid. Maybe it's not that expensive. I don't know. Would you guys buy a gold PS5? What's the max amount of money you would spend on a gold or platinum or rose-plated PS5? So, okay. Let me go to the chat settings here really quickly. Give me 1 second, guys. And then we will move on to the Q&A with the chat. So let me bring this up. Hold your horses because I'm not going to be able to see it yet. All right, so we're moving on to the Q&A portion of the podcast where you guys can ask me questions. Once again, I have to let you know I may not be able to keep up. I certainly will not be able to read all the questions, so just continue to ask them and hopefully I don't miss it. If I do miss it during the remainder of this podcast, show up next week and hopefully I won't. So does Sony need new IPs like Xbox for PS5, Horizon 2, Demon's Souls, Ratchet and Clank Remake, and Gran Turismo 12? I don't think they need new IPs, but we're going to get them anyway. So look out for that. We will be getting new IP. I'm already losing track. Disney Pixar sold their company to EA because they were not doing as well as they wanted to. That is why Star Wars Battlefront is so pay to win. I don't know about that. MBG, there is something I need to tell you. Sometimes I'm not going to be hyped for a state of play because these events these days always lowers my expectation. That was made me feel our nerve at some games. Well, you know what, man? That's totally understandable. Go in with medium expectations. Don't expect too much, but don't expect nothing. I think that's the best way to approach it. 50-50 expectations. MBG, any insider news on when the August event date will be announced? The wait is painful. I do not have any insider news. However, I am thinking that this August 6th date could in fact be true. So keep an eye out, but that's not insider information. What happened to the Liu acquisition? Not going to happen because they're in exclusive talks with a different company. I forget which one, Tencent, I think. I guess why Gabe said Xbox is better is because of the investment that Sony made in Epic Games. That's a possibility. Do I think this will be the final traditional console generation? No, I do not. Not if Sony has anything to say about it. It will not, absolutely not be, especially when you see how well the PS5 is going to sell. Mark my words, you're going to see a PS6 and even a PS7. The quality of The Last of Us 2 versus Halo Infinite goes deeper. Compare Abby's dialogue and character motivations to the nonsense that Brute was vomiting down the camera lens. Mustache trolling idiocy. Dude, I didn't even listen to what that Brute was saying, man. I could barely understand him. I was just kind of appalled. It was really cringy to me. Did you see that X90H TV ready for PS5? Are you getting one? I have to look into that. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I should upgrade my TV. I've been wanting to get an OLED TV for the PS5 for the best possible experience, but I just don't. I don't know if the timing is right. I feel like it is. Hey, MBG, what's the deal with your merchandise? Oh, thank you for asking, dude. Well, really quick, let me read this super chat, and then I'll let you know. More in-game mod support on PS4. Yeah, we did see that for a little bit. Hold your horses with the question. You know what? Remind me about the merch before I sign off here. I will let you guys know about the merch one more time, but I got to get to some of these questions. Are you going to buy a gold PS5? No, I am not. Which act in Ghost of Tsushima are you in? I think I'm in the second act or the third act. I've been taking my time. I haven't had as much time to like sit down and play it as I've been wanting, but I'm making my way through. What's the latest news on the Sony San Diego studio? I'm excited that they're working on a new IP. Watch the first video I put out yesterday. I have a big update. Well, somewhat of a big update. What do you think about WB acquisition by Microsoft? I don't think Microsoft is going to get it. They might, but it would be big for them. What's your first game on the PS5 going to be? Probably Spider-Man, guys. It's exciting to say the next exclusive game we're going to be covering here on the channel is going to be a PS5 exclusive, most likely Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm going to play every game, dude. I'm excited. That's how excited I am. I plan to play every game. I didn't hear those Marvel fans cry low blow when Disney bought Fox. They're willing to have an entire art form be eaten by one company just so Wolverine can talk to the Avengers. Yeah, I guess you're right about that, man. I love you and Marlon too. I'm waiting for him to go live. Do you think the Urza Miller Flash movie will be any good? Maybe. I don't know, man. Maybe. Let me see. Buy an LG C9, best in class. Maybe I will. I don't know. See, that's the thing. I have to do my research. I have an LG OLED TV, and I wouldn't recommend it for gaming. Screen burn is a huge concern on a lot of games with no HUD options. Yeah, that is true, man. I thought like the modern day OLED TVs have kind of fixed that problem, though, haven't they? Do you think that a teaser for God of War will be dropped on that August event? I hope so. I think it could be, but I don't necessarily think so. I'm losing track. Hold on, guys. Okay, so True Witty, you're saying, do you think the well-known PS game will be The Getaway or Siphon Filter? The Getaway will be a great game to give GTA a challenge. Both can have good multiplayer. I think that would be awesome. I'd love to see either. I've heard some people say Metal Gear Solid, to which I promptly say no, because don't give me hope. But I would love to see any of those. But we don't know if that's true. Like, we don't know if there's actually a revival of an older, more well-known PlayStation franchise being revealed. I'm going to be real right now, guys. Don't anticipate that. That's not me saying any inside information. I'm just saying it would be best to avoid any possible disappointment. What are your thoughts about the PS5 having removable side plates? Yang said that there were leaks that suggested so. Yeah, I also covered that, and I think it would be great. It makes a lot of sense to me, but we have yet to see that, so we have to hold tight for confirmation. Do you feel Halo Infinite would have been received better if it was shown off at E3 2019 and promoted as an Xbox One game? Maybe a little bit better, not much better though. If you want a TV, check out a YouTube channel called Quantum TV, all legit TV reviews. Okay, no company sponsored. I'll have to check that out. Do you think the second team at Guerrilla could put together for a FPS multiplayer? I mean, Killzone coming to PS5? Possibly. I hope we see their second game, whatever it is. Do you think there will be a Ghost of Tsushima sequel in the next 5 years? I want to say, considering how well it sold, yeah, we'll probably see Return to this Universe on PS5. Thank you for that, Wolf93. Saying just watched gameplay from Crash 4, looks stunning. Ratchet & Clank looks stunning. I agree, man. Are you excited to hit 70K? Yeah, I noticed that. We're about to hit 70K, guys. Big milestone, huge milestone for the channel. 30K away from the big 100K. So thank you guys so much for that. I am excited. You're about to hit 70K subs. Congrats, early congrats. Thank you so much for that, guys. We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate the 70K with merch launch. I'll be launching merch in the next day or two, hopefully, maybe 3, but look out for that. Let's see here. MBG, do you think we'll see gameplay for Resident Evil 8 at the State of Play? I think we could. Game Pass is great for backwards compatibility. Alana Pierce is right to highlight that in an economic crash. The problem is forwards compatibility, crippling new games to serve outdated hardware. Yeah, like that's the thing, man. I mean, I go in hard on Xbox Game Pass. I'm not going to fault anybody who's like, well, it saves me money and it's $10. I can't fault anybody for that, but I just feel like there's just a little bit of a disconnect between like people who are genuinely concerned about like the future of the gaming industry and people who are just like, well, whatever, you know, I can get games for a good deal. It's enticing. It is enticing. How do you manage working with making video games and playing video? It sounds ridiculous, but it can be kind of a challenge sometimes. I'm not going to lie. What do I think about Returnal? I think Returnal looks awesome. I think that's going to be a surprise hit, a sleeper hit game. I think it looks great. I'm very excited for it, and I want to cover it on my channel. Do you feel Halo Infinite? I think I read that one already. What do you think about the WB acquisition? As I said, I think it would be big for them, but I don't know if it's going to happen. What are my thoughts on Godfall? I think it looks pretty good. I mean, like it looks like a fun co-op game to play, and I'll probably play it. If it's there at the launch of the PS5, I'll probably play it. Yo, MBG. Yo, Shaquille. Shaquille, hopefully I'm saying that right. What are your thoughts on Phil walking the talk, putting Cuphead on PS4, LOL? Yeah, I don't think that was up to Phil. I don't know. They probably just said whatever. What are my thoughts on the latest Avengers War table? I haven't seen it, actually. I'm probably going to play the Avengers. It looks okay from what I've seen. I heard that Blue Point will be shown for maybe the last hour or State of Play. If they show us 2 hours, good enough time for it? No. Do not anticipate the State of Play to be 2 hours. It will not be 2 hours. What's your guess on that classic game that Sony will revive? A lot of people have been saying Jak and Daxter. I don't know if it's going to be that. I think, I don't know what it could be. It could be anything. I'd love for it to be a Metal Gear Solid, but that's just, I think, very much wishful thinking on my end. Do you think the games as a service model Microsoft is going with for Halo Infinite is bad for the industry and gamers? I do. I think games as a service can certainly have their place, but I'm just not confident in Microsoft doing it the right way. What do you think happened to the Blue Eyes Leopard guy? Well, I'm not sure. I've seen people mention him. Am I excited for the new God of War? Hell yeah. What cartoon-like game do you own? I don't know. I'm looking forward to that Mean Greens game that's launching on August 5th on PS4. It's like a throwback to the classic Army Men games. But are we getting a feet shirt with the merchandise? No, you're not. You're not. All right, guys. I would stop asking questions here because I'm not going to be able to answer anymore. MBG face reveal during PS4, PS5 unboxing. Maybe. If we can get to 100K, by the time we get to the PS5, maybe I'll do a face reveal unboxing. If we can get to 100K, that's not a lot of time, though, to get to 100K. So, But yeah, okay. So this is where I'm going to end the podcast, guys. I am getting very hungry and my voice is starting to go. I have to first, Wolf93, you're saying, do you think they will bring MotorStorm back? I don't think so, honestly. I don't think so. It's not likely. I got your super chat, Wolf. Don't worry. I got it. Eddie Who, you're saying, have a great day, man. Well, thank you so much for that, Eddie Who. Real quick, before I go, I have to plug the merch one more time. And I'm going to give a big thank you to everybody. I have my merch almost finalized. It should be ready to launch in the next day or two. I'm hoping there won't be any hiccups or anything. It will be integrated into my channel, so you'll see it below each video as long as I get it set up properly. I want to let you know, for those who are interested, be sure to actually visit the shop. It will be on Teespring because there's going to be a lot more to choose from than what you'll actually see displayed here or at like the bottom of each video. So I want to encourage that. I tried to do as much as I could. Anybody who's a fan of pocket logos, you know, I have a lot of merch that has different pocket logos. Yes, there will be an all right, guys, take care. There will be all that stuff because I know you guys were asking for that. Santos, you're saying, what do you think the availability ratio between PS5 disc drive and all digital will be when the console is available for purchase? I would assume it'll be 50-50, but if I had to lean towards one or the other, I think you're going to see more of the disc-based version than the digital. But if the digital version picks up Steam, then yeah, I think you'll see that. Devil Child, you're saying you're hyped for the merch. Yeah, I'm excited to put the merch out. I'm going to be really interested to see, you know, the feedback. I put that one image out and a lot of people were actually not digging it. And I didn't say this when I put out that image on my community tab, but there's going to be a lot of different options for different types of merch. Like that was just one option. And I know not everybody's going to want to rock a massive PS5 with a massive MBG logo on the center of their shirt. I know some people would, but there's going to be a lot of options. Devil Child, you're asking, will there be MBG socks? There was the option for me to do socks. I decided not to. I could always add this stuff later on, but I'm very excited for the merch launch, guys. I think it's going to be a good time. Again, it's just another way for you guys to help support me directly. And so before I end this podcast, I had to give a massive, massive thank you to all of you for being here with me. Before you head out, if you could hit the like button, that would be great. We are just about to hit 800 likes, which is awesome. The amount of support you guys have shown during this podcast is frankly staggering, and I cannot thank you enough. From the bottom of my heart as a human being, it really means so much to me that you guys show this type of support. Yes, there will be coffee mugs. Don't worry. Actually, every single thing you see listed there, except for 3 things, you'll know what I'm talking about. But everything you will be able to get a mug. If you want a mug, you'll even be able to get phone cases if you want that. So, but I had to thank you guys so much to my members who continue to remain subscribed as a member and remain a member. Thank you for the new members. For those of you who just hung out with me today, all of the super chats. It's been a hell of a podcast, and it was just wow. So thank you guys so much. I just want to make sure I'm not. There was something else I wanted to mention here, but it's slipping by. I think it had something to do with my. Oh yeah, one last thing I want to mention for any of my members who are currently here, or for anybody who's listening after, who designed the merchandise. It's actually, if you look in all of my videos, I have a email account linked to the channel art. It was actually him, Rick Mejia. Hopefully, I apologize if you're listening, Rick, and I'm destroying your last name, but Rick, he actually made a lot of the designs for me, and we're going to work on future stuff together. So, if you want to reach out to him through email, if you want him to maybe make something for you, feel free to do that. I did want to mention one last thing before I go, though, guys. I don't know if YouTube has implemented this yet. I think they're going to be implementing it. Virtual hug, bro. Thank you. Yes, virtual hug back to all you guys. If you're saying I sound different, it might be because of my mic. I did get a new mic last month. I hope you have an iPhone SE case. I think so. Yeah, I think there's like pretty much a case for all iPhones. Real quick though, before I forget, apparently YouTube is implementing this new feature for members, where you can actually subscribe for. It's almost like prepaid memberships. You can subscribe, I think, for 3 months, 6 months, or a year at one time. And that's just another option that YouTube is implementing. YouTube claims that this was like the most requested feature from people who are actually members, which is interesting to me. So I just want to point out that at some point in later this month, I don't have a date because they haven't given me a date, but that will be going live on the channel. So if you want to just like subscribe in a prepaid way and like be a member for a year or be a member for 6 months, that will be an option for everybody. So I figured I'd just let you guys know, keep you up to date with everything. But yeah, the outro is turning out to be just as long as the intro was, but that's going to do it, guys. Again, thank you so much. What an awesome podcast. You guys really made my day, and you made my week, frankly. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what's going to go down this week. There's a very good chance that we could be streaming once again later this week if there is, in fact, a state of play. So I hope to see you guys there. But until next time, guys, take care.